Welcome to the incoming Radiant Wellness Podcast, where intuitive movement educators Burns and Stephanie Y Jolivet help you to embody spiritual concepts in order to embrace your physio-energetic wholeness. And now, let's get to the episode. Welcome back to another episode of the incoming Radiant Wellness Podcast. I am Stephanie.
I am Jem.
And we are the incoming. And wow, the holidays are upon us. Even here in France, Christmas has been pre-Halloween because there is no Thanksgiving. So we have our Christmas tree up, there's Christmas lights. It actually is lighting up my soul. And because of that, Jem and I are here together to feel into the self. What is it? What is the self? What is it to be selfish? And how is that evolving? And also selfless. So these words, self, selfish, selfless, selfie. And really just unpacking that from our vantage point, of course, physio-energetic wholeness. And also this reframe. So Jem, how is it resonating with you, especially this word, this loaded word, selfish?
Yeah, it's a bad thing, right? It feels like it has this...
So they say.
It has this feeling sense about it that leans into being really bad. But the etymology of the word, when you break down selfish, the self is the being, it's the essence. And the ish, when we say something is ish, like red-ish, it's not quite red, it's almost there, it's on its way, maybe calibrating, it's not the mark, right? So when we say selfish, it's not the mark of being self. So it relates to me about authenticity, being your authentic self, being in your truth, being in your integrity. All of these parts are not congruent in that channel. It starts to be in this, I would call it uncleaned energy, because we're all entangled in each other's energy. And so we're not really aligned to ourself. So when we're aligned with the self, then we can pour from our cup, right? When we're misaligned, we're actually managing the perceptions of others. And it's an emptiness, it's a void, it's a constant of interactions to be acknowledged, to feel love. So it's related to many different ways of being and understanding ourselves. But the root of it is being even less than the self, or being not all the way the self. And we are absolutely here to be the self.
And I love that. And that calibration, the ish, you're not quite there. The way that I was seeing it is, that ish, it's reddish, or I'll see you around, I don't know, noonish. It's nebulous, it's not grounded, it's floating. It's like you said, not the mark. It's like a little butterfly that you're like, I can't quite grab it. So what I find really fascinating about that is that this selfish, we have collectively, in the English language, grounded it in something negative when we can't even, it's like not even defined. The word itself, selfish, is so nebulous, and somehow we've grounded that with a negative connotation. So yes, beautiful to reframe it as that, the calibration towards, the ishness towards the self. So beautiful. And the way that I am grounding it through my channel is with a sacronym. These sacred acronyms that I mention them all the time because I think they come in pretty much every episode we do here. And ever since Justin Tilou came, Earthside in 2021, sort of tout à coup, all of a sudden, words literally like unpacked themselves to me. Here, this W is actually this, and that Q is this, and In any case, so that's what those are for those of you that are tuning in for the first time. It's these direct from source amplifications of words to manifest more clarity and understanding. So self is a really powerful one that came to me, which is source, energy, life force. So when we consider that, the self as source, energy, life force, our mission here at The Incoming is to give you tools and come together in community to connect you to your source. So that is literally the essence of what we are meant to do here. And at the heart of that essence is love. So that when you embrace yourself or come to the mirror with Gem and MirrorWork and look and regard yourself, or come move with me in class and get to know yourself. It is to move you deeper into your essence, which at its foundation is love. So that reframe is so powerful. It feels so good to talk about it. And I'm just going to say that again, self, source, energy, life force. If you can embrace that, well, then you have everything. And then you have that place of power from which to stand in the center and to receive others. Wow, what a powerful dialogue to be in tune with.
Yeah, because that center is, the center of the self is love. That is what we find in MirrorWork as well. It's that dialogue with the self to become, to recognize that love aspect. Because when you come to the mirror, you typically will come with all of the thoughts, all of the judgments usually are on the surface of the skin. They come first. They're like, pow, 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 pow. They're going to hit you with their best shot. And it can be challenging to sit in the self and to find that part of you because it's been so distorted by these entanglements of energy. And again, it's this conditioning and this patterning that we're all a part of in this game of life, where we believe that we are not love, that love is outside of ourselves. So we have to go get love. But to go get love, we have to give something to get something. And when we start bargaining for love, for something that we already exist as, we take away from the power of the self, the power of the love that we are. Because when we're able to hold love for ourselves, we actually, it's a paradox, we actually give more by being ourselves, by amplifying that frequency. It allows others to find it. Because when we're all wobbling around, it can be tough to calibrate to a position and to really hold your stake in the ground, right? If there's a lot of wind or turbulence. And collectively, there's a lot of wind and turbulence happening. And so it's about clearing the energy to become. And we have to go to do that. We go on this mission to find the self. Many of us are just lost in that tide of not being able to really see the self as the self, because we've been in this conditioning dance with others of getting to get something instead of being to belong to something.
Well, exactly. And when you're told, don't be selfish, or you're being selfish with that directness or that anger or that whatever it is, the negativity, then of course you're gonna be like, oh, well, then I guess I can't be myself. I guess I can't calibrate to myself. Mm-hmm. And there is I find it's interesting, there's a kind of reclaiming happening. For women or for moms even, it's like, mama, take care of yourself because you have to be full. So there are certain places in life where that's okay. And you sort of still have to step into a role for it to be accepted. So what we are saying here is that, no, you don't. It's great that populations that have not been seen, or like teachers as well, another one, that are sort of being seen and still with conditions attached. So the lighter we can continue to speak about the word, to speak about the self, to imbue that word with light, then the ish will fall away. And you will simply be source energy, life force. You will be yourself. And that path toward authenticity will be your birthright. It already is. It already is. So kids come into this world with no awareness that they are separate even from their mother. And then once they begin to actually move, they begin to move away and move into more self-awareness. And that is pretty significant, that we come in as one, and then we move into our individuality, individuation, to then learn about ourself, to then, ideally, because I am an idealist, and I can no longer deny it, to then circle back into that unity consciousness. So if we could just if we could hold that space that we come in with of that unity consciousness, we are here as well. I'm going to interrupt myself. We are here as well to bump into each other, to mingle in each other's energy. It's just here at the incoming, what we encourage, especially around the holidays, is to get comfortable with your energy so that your radiant light bubble, that auric field of energy, is patched, is not leaking energy or fully absorbing, so that you can sit with what is yours, know with what is yours, and like Shem said, then that's the place where you can serve.
When we look at the history of how are we in this selfish nature now, because exactly what Stephanie was just saying a minute ago, when you're being called out for being selfish, it sparks an emotion, almost like a shame, like, oh my God, I'm being called out for being selfish. It's harsh. It comes with an emotion, right? Emotions can come and stick in the body, and then we have to find the emotional root cause of what is occurring later on, because it's held. And so when we have these lockups from doing something that is perceived as wrong, like being selfish or being so selfish, it jerks us into this, oh, wait, what is that? What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? And so then we start to put in this word wrong, not correct, I'm not doing it right, and starts to become more mentalized in our field rather than a feeling sense of, oh, I'm tuning to myself. The work here is to be the self, is to know the self. A lot of us can be not knowing ourselves, myself included. I'm going to put myself in the camp.
Me too.
Because I get tangled very easy in other people's energy. And so my job is to recognize that. And I'm not there all the time. We're not meant to be there all the time. Like Stephanie was just saying, we're bumping into others. We're meant to be in communities. We're meant to be interacting. We're not here to just be this isolated person. And that isn't what selfishness is, or being selfless even. Being selfless is less than the self. We need to be more the self, more the self, more the self, more of who you are, because each one of us carries a different resonance. If we're thinking about tune, I think about a tuning fork. Like if we're all a tuning fork, if you hit a tuning fork, it reverberates in a way that things start to correspond to that vibration. And that's what we're here to do, is to tune ourselves in this way where then we reverberate our vibration out. And it's, again, that balancing with the collective energy, allowing everybody else to be who they are and start to untangle from this tangled ball we're all in. You know, we're all just like kind of stuck unraveling. When we can unravel to the self, then we can really have the power to be the creators of our lives, to create the things and make the changes that have been just handed down for generations in this way. So we're really in this moment of time it's actually a very exciting moment of time. And part of that is this awareness of the self and coming into this trajectory where we can be and honor ourselves. And how do we hold the self? Because that requires boundaries as well. And boundaries is another word that can get like, that's negative to have boundaries, right? They get perceived as that. But when you hold your boundary, you become. And I mean, again, a lot of this work of holding my boundary or finding my boundaries on things, because I've been in this pattern, in this dialogue of allowing things to happen. And it becomes almost like a betrayal against the self if your boundaries are crossed and you don't do anything about it. So it's really pertinent, just like we mentioned here a lot, the radiant light bubble, the auric field, to really expand and utilize the field. The extension of the self is that bubble that then comes all the way around and holds us in this big, beautiful light. We're not just this body with limbs and hair and eyeballs, right? We're much bigger than the body even. So we're talking energetics, and we're talking about belonging to others, but being able to hold the self.
And thank you so much for that. I love that you brought up boundaries, because that has been my journey. Basically my whole life, but it's like supersonic speed. And perhaps for me, that is because I have had a child. And it's like, well, I don't literally have the energy, and like, what do you want me to do? Like, there's a baby on my breast, like, that, I mean, it's just, so for me, that's what I needed. But it has been, especially these past 4 or 5 years here in France, this kind of cocoon for me, to literally be a witness to myself, to see, oh my gosh, I am leaking energy all over the place. So my work here, in this body, in this moment, on this earth plane, is to actually fortify my boundaries. And I love that you said that. And then linking back to what you were saying with the tuning fork, it pulls people into formation, or water even, or energy, everything. So that is how you moving into yourself, being, I'm putting it in quotes because selfish. What I was thinking about is, I'm going to interrupt myself again because that's where the thread of where I am today. But like selfie sticks, take a selfie. That word has become, actually, it's not a negative thing. Maybe it was at one time, but now it's just natural. It's like, yeah, of course we take selfies. It's just turning the camera on yourself. And so instead of selfish, it's let's be the selfiest self we can be to help shift humanity. but that tuning fork is that's such a beautiful metaphor for how you do it. Because if you are then, because you might have a question like, well, it's selfish to be like, do what I want to do and be in my own energy and work in my own timing. So and you're telling me, this is you audience out there, perhaps it's a question I've had, and now you're telling me I actually need to be in myself. Well, how does that change the world? And it's the tuning fork, because when you tune, and like Jem said, it's not just your body, it's your energy. We have this field, this radiant light bulb. You have this field of energy, and it has been measured, and it's about 4 to 6 feet outside of your body. So you are ensconced in this radiant light bubble. And so by refining your boundaries, you are tuning that fork. By saying no to things that do not resonate, you are tuning your fork. By engaging in things that bring you more joy and abundance and love, you are tuning that fork. And what is happening there, you are sitting inside of your radiant light bubble, emanating this, again, this wholeless expanse, whole and wholeless expanse that you are not leaking and you are not absorbing. You are in, you are being. And so once you are in that, like the tuning fork, people can feel it. They might even hear it. They can see it in how you show up. And what that does on an energetic level, And actually on a physical level, because I was thinking about being in the ventral vagal, like you were saying, Jem, you have to be spacious in your nervous system to be able to be spacious in your energy. They work together. They work lovingly in this partnership, in this figure eight of partnership, because I'm going to bring it in every time. I can't help it. And then that helps someone else who enters your field feel it and feel safe and feel maybe odd at the first time. What is this? This person is accepting me? Wait, this is weird. Like, this is, I don't understand. It might feel like that, and that's okay, because we're not quite used to it yet, but more and more of us are coming into regulation in our nervous system, and all that means is that when you are upregulated, when you're, you know how to get yourself down, or when you are dysregulated on the low end, you know how to get yourself up. It doesn't mean being calm all the time. It means accepting and allowing emotions to move through you. That is the only way you can expand and then sit in that radiant light bubble for that next person who enters your field to have whatever experience they are having, and being able to simply hold it. So that is how you affect change. You resonate in yourself, in your source energy life force, in that frequency of love.
It feels like we're in this reclamation, right? We're reclaiming these parts of ourselves to really understand and know the self. So even boundaries, like we were just speaking on, right? But when you embody the boundary, you actually become the frequency. And it's again that tuning fork that you start to reverberate out into the world, into these patterns of clarity, of clean energy. That one for me, because it's like being dirty. You know, I've been in the beach every day. I'm here in Hawaii, and sand is everywhere. And if I don't go take a shower and rinse that off of me, I'm going to feel it later. I'm going to feel it moving in friction and all of these parts like not moving because it's not clean, it's not clear. I want to wash it away so that then I'm back in myself. If I'm just allowing things to linger and stick, and I'm talking about the energetics of it, but I'm bringing it into the physical because we're so much more aware of our physical bodies. But the clarifying of the energy helps to clear, again, the feeling sense. There's so much that we're doing, and it's all in this head space, right? And we're also, if you don't know, I'm here to tell you, we're moving away from the head and the mind and everything, figuring it all out, into the heart. We're dropping into the heart center. So we're in an evolution here. Each one of us is on a journey of the self, evolving to become. So that evolution is going to come with redefining words, reclaiming words, because the connotations are incorrect. They were given as a result of another era, and we're past that era. We're in a new way of understanding ourselves and belonging to the self. By knowing ourselves. You are so powerful when you are yourself, when you are connected to that channel, that sacred channel that is the love. We want to enjoy the love that you emanate, because when we emanate love, we see the power. It's a journey every day, returning home to the self, returning home to the self. It's a walk, it's an evolution, and we're all doing it because that is where we reside, is the self.
I love it, and I love that you started that with the clean energy. And that clean energy is even in our collective. There is this push collectively for clean energy. And of course that means something different than what we're talking about, but it's all that same vibration. Clean energy, that feels delicious. If there's a dirty window, well, you can't see anything. But if you clean it, well, all of a sudden, everything is clear. What we are doing here with this word, how we are reclaiming it, is literally what Jem was saying. We've had selfish up here. I shouldn't do that because I'm selfish. Or, look at that person, they're so selfish. There's judgment. That we're dropping it out of the headspace, and by reclaiming it as source energy, life force, we are dropping it into the heart space. wow, as a place to shine and beam from, rather than shrink into or out of. And so that might mean that people, places, things, experiences will fall away from your life. And for me, for this past year, it's had to do with how I eat. And I was saying to myself, oh yeah, I don't eat what I want. I eat what my gut flora knows will nourish me. And that is a huge reframe of how I used to eat, which was what I wanted to eat when I wanted to eat it. And that was fine. And then by aligning through movement, through self-reflection, through really everything we do here at the Incoming, by that little I, which is your source energy, tapping into that, I became unwilling to eat this other way. So I eat what nourishes me. And that's taken a lot of unpacking, taken a lot of just understanding also my own, just the human body chemistry and really what does serve our really ancient and wise biology, which is a lot of fats, a lot of cruciferous vegetables, and many other things. And so what that has meant for me here in France, that has the best of everything, the best pâtisserie, the best beurre, the best pain, the best baguette, the best everything. It's meant that the first 3 years I enjoyed the sugar, I enjoyed the blé, I enjoyed it all. And then, boom, my body was like, no more, Stephanie. And so what that means is that I eat alone a lot. I light a candle, I say a prayer, and I have so much gratitude, so much more gratitude for the food that I was just, yeah, it tasted good, but I was just, I don't even know. There's no word, just putting it in there and not experiencing it to its full extent. And so, and also for my French family, my belle famille, my family-in-law, they're like, oh, you don't eat sugar anymore? So it's actually taken me out of how my French family eats. So all that to say, all of that, because this is where my brain is today, friends. Thank you for coming along. And of course you, my dear sister, Jem. All that to say that once you align with yourself, source energy, light force, you will become, and I know it because I feel it, you will become unwilling to change back. You will continue to evolve, but there is an unwillingness, a firmness in your identity, in yourself, your source energy, life force, that no longer permits you to sway, to waver. And it's a really sovereign, really free, really powerful place. And yes, it can come with pain and discomfort and loss. And it opens up new paths and new space and new abundances for you to enjoy.
Yeah, I love that because it's the levels of becoming, right? I cannot go back. I cannot go backwards because I'm facing forwards. I'm facing in this direction, and it's not that I have it all figured out. I don't have it figured out. I have trust, and I have knowing, capital K knowing, as Stephanie would say. I have this knowing, which is my intuitive self. I feel magnetized to the experience, and that is a part of the work that we do, is actually bringing those parts more into the forefront so that they're accessible, so that we can utilize them, so that we can shine, right? I'm shining. I'm not looking in my rear view mirror, because that is a trap in a lot of ways, to be always looking back. What should I do? Or even, I'm here with my brother, and yesterday he told me, maybe you just need to ask a bunch of people because you're indecisive, so the more opinions you get, it'll be better for you. And immediately I'm just thinking to myself, no, that's worse. That's worse. That's worse for me. I've done that already. I did that. That's my rear view mirror, where I was outsourcing my power and collecting different people's, because I was slower to arrive at a decision. But now I have ways to guide myself to myself. And even if it's slow, even if I have to sit and be patient And wait, I'm not really waiting. I can sit in my truth, hold my boundary around myself, knowing that that's not for me. Like, just let that bing off my off my radiant light bubble. Like, oh, okay, input, out. Yeah. And allow myself to really feel into what I want and where I'm headed and what is that. Because I've found another stair where I can't return to those other advices. It doesn't mean I don't go for advice where I want to go, but I will always consider it within the container of myself, because I have access to that channel, that love portal that I am, and that allows me to move through life in a very different way. And that way for me is forward, because that's the way I'm facing, is to the light.
To the light and with your light. So when we can all just allow our light, when we can all just allow our light to shine. Like, I'm so excited to be holding this space where you and I, Jem, can do that. Because that is like, there's a lot of talk, especially in conscious parenting communities that I am a part of sharing a nervous system and borrowing a nervous system. So it's a real thing. It's like borrowing positive energy. It's one and the same, different language, but that's what we are able to do. And then when more and more of us are able to lead with our light, allow it to shine and in a continual expanse, then it literally lights the way of acceptance and compassion and love for us all. And that's amazing.
Be who you are, be yourself, and find yourself by knowing yourself, attuning to yourself, really registering. Is this mine? Is this not mine? Start to ask, and play, make it playful, become curious. Curiosity to me helped me find, because that takes away the judgment parts. I wonder why you're doing that today. Okay, I can consider it, and then I can see if that's a match for my vibration and where I'm lighting up in my life.
Be the selfiest self you can be for the good of humanity, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Mwah, gros bisous.
Ciao.
Thanks for listening to the incoming Radiant Wellness Podcast. If our vibration resonates with you, subscribe so you never miss an episode. If you would like to join our community, theincoming.co, click the link in the description to gain exclusive access to our weekly classes, monthly offerings, intensives, and courses. Until next time, shine bright, radiant beings.